Tech companies like OpenAI, Meta, and Google once promised that they would never be involved in war.
No.
That's not what they're looking to do. They have
no evil.
Morals. But they've broken their promises. That's gone up in smoke because, profits. So Silicon Valley is now completely intertwined in the military industrial complex as artificial intelligence shapes the future of war. How fantastic, something to look forward to. So let's start with Google. In 2018, the company was facing an internal rebellion. Employees were protesting a contract with the Pentagon known as Project Maven. And under that contract, Google's AI was to be used to analyze surveillance footage taken by drones. Now, Google, in that case, listened to its employees. It chose not to renew its contract. And it promised that its AI would not be used for weapons or other technologies whose principal purpose or implementation is to cause or directly facilitate injury to people. In February of this year, Google announced that ban had been lifted. So in a blog post, the company said there was a global competition taking place for AI leadership within an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. We believe democracy should lead in AI development. I mean, you can develop AI and not use it for war, but you wouldn't maximize your profits if you did that, right? So the case of Meta is very similar. Like Google, it once swore to avoid using its AI technology for military warfare and nuclear industries. Fast forward to a report that was released in November of last year. Meta said that it would make its AI models available to federal agencies and that it was working with defense contractors such as Lockheed Martin and Booz Allen, as well as defense-focused tech companies, including Palantir and Anduril. I don't even know what Anduril is, but
yeah, I had a headache the other night and I took a couple of Andurils.
Don't do that, you might die.
Yeah, actually, it's totally true. Okay, by the way, Anduril, one of the people who funded him in the beginning was JD Vance. Palantir funded by Peter Thiel. JD Vance funded by Peter Thiel.
JD Vance, a creation of Peter Thiel, so.
He cooked him up in a laboratory.
Yeah, and more on Palantir in a minute. In May of this year, Meta announced that it would be developing virtual reality glasses to be used for training soldiers. And last but not least, OpenAI. By now you can probably guess how their story goes. So the company revoked its ban on weapons development and military and warfare technology in January of 2024. By the end of that year, literally by the end of that year, it had already partnered with Anduril to create anti-drone AI systems. Okay, and so Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, has struck a patriotic tone when it comes to explaining his company's change of heart. He says, "We have to and are proud to and really want to engage in national security areas," Altman said, adding that OpenAI would help develop AI when it was supporting the US and our allies to uphold democratic values around the world and to keep us safe. Listen, it's not 2003, it's not 2007 or 2009 or 20, it is 2025, okay? Luckily, Americans have caught on to this sham that he's trying to sell us about like, oh yes, we want to work with our allies and use this technology to spread democracy.
Spread democracy.
Nothing like that, okay? It's all about making money, doesn't matter. By the way, AI, like I love how like the even if you believe that new technologies should be implemented with our military, even if you believe that, have you used AI? Like, don't you feel like we're kind of putting the cart before the horse?
No, we're in a lot of trouble.
We're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so let me start getting into it a little bit. So there's a couple angles in this story. One is what Anna started with. Look, when you have unrestrained capitalism, which Adam Smith was against and any sensible person is against, it turns into corporatism and kills free markets. It's ironic, okay? Because if you don't restrain it with democracy and you only give it one command, it's the system itself, the economic system becomes in a sense AI. So we program that robot with only one command: maximize profit. Other countries have not done this. So in Europe, they are capitalists, but they have restraints on companies. That's what makes them true capitalists, as opposed to what we have. When it's unrestrained, corporations rise up and then attack their competition using the government. That's corporate capture, that's crony capitalism, that's corporatism. And that's the system we live under. Now, where it gets super scary, guys, is two things that these guys are doing. One is facial recognition software. So we're now in a science fiction movie, okay? And so you're gonna see how it relates to Israel in a second. And so they're taking your facial recognition, and now you're all on record. And the minute you do anything that, now the powerful can get away with anything. They can go to islands and rape underage girls, no problem, right? You do any infraction, including opposing the government of America or Israel, et cetera, and you're in a world of trouble. This is Big Brother on steroids. The second part is they now have autonomous drones. You understand what that means? Autonomous, weaponized AI. AI independent of human control that is weaponized, and sometimes operating on facial recognition. In fact, that program is being used, some version of that program is being used in Israel as we speak for Where's Daddy, where they do facial recognition of people that they claim are Hamas but are just Palestinian males, and then AI feeds them the coordinates of his house. They wait for the guy to go home, and they murder their entire family by dropping a bomb on him. Hey, weaponized AI, we're here to protect democracy. Unless, of course, you're just a normal Palestinian civilian, in which case we're gonna murder you and your family with our democracy.
Yep. Now, finally, we have to discuss Palantir. So unlike its big tech counterparts, Palantir was never squeamish about using technology for war, joining forces with militaries, being part of the military-industrial complex. And if you watch any interview with Peter Thiel, you'll understand why. The guy's like a weirdo, a total sociopath. In fact, Palantir's CEO Alex Karp actually sued the military back in 2016, arguing that the army should be forced to consider using its software. That's amazing. And guess what?
Forced to use it.
Guess what? He won the lawsuit. He won the lawsuit. He won the lawsuit. Okay, so that proved to be an enormously profitable move for Palantir. So Palantir received more than $322 million from government contracts in the first 6 months of this year. Okay, that's a 12% increase from the same period 2 years earlier.
Okay, it gets way worse than that. Because their valuation has gone up 600% in the last year. And the reason for that is they're saying, and the market believes them, that they're going to increase their revenue tenfold. Because the US government is going to give them so many contracts to track us.
Our money.
Our money, yep. Then we get tracked with our own money.
Yep.
They create autonomized, weaponized AI.
Yep.
And then do you have any, if you're a conservative, do you have any idea how much power the government's gonna have? If you were worried about tyrannical government, it just showed up at your door. And then ironically, aided and abetted by the Republican Party. And Trump is shoveling contracts to them. And by the way, this is super important. You remember how they pretended they were gonna cut defense? And now they added $150 billion to defense. That's why Silicon Valley is going nuts. They're like, oh my God, we're gonna get hundreds of billions of dollars funneled to us by, turns out the Republicans are 100% corrupt and they'll give us everything we want. And they're not gonna lower the spending, they're gonna increase the spending. We're gonna rob the American taxpayers and shovel it over to Silicon Valley to create tracking devices. I mean, remember how the conservatives were worried about, the 5G tracking in the blood, it's from COVID, etc. Palantir's tracking everybody with facial recognition, okay?
Well, I mean, just wait until Palantir develops the chips and then sues the government to force us to all install it in our bodies. I mean, I don't know, like honestly, that sounds crazy and dystopian, but
this is dystopian.
Like we're already in that, yeah, exactly. We're already in that era. So to your point, Cenk, you're right. Palantir's company stock is up 600% from just 1 year ago. What does that amount to dollars wise? Well, the company's market value ballooned to more than $375 billion with a B this month.
They're now larger or more valuable than Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman and General Dynamics, 3 giant defense contractors that have been around forever. So Silicon Valley is getting into the defense business. You know, part of the reason why they do that? Because the Pentagon is the one part that no one's allowed to question. And to their credit, right-wing voters wanted to question the Pentagon. And then Trump said to them, you thought we were America first and all that stuff and we're gonna drain the swamp. No. You'll bow your head. The Pentagon never passes an audit and never will. They say they don't know where $400 billion go every year, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna funnel all to, coincidentally, those are our donors.
Yep.
What a lucky break those guys caught.
Well, Palantir has more than quadrupled their spending on federal lobbying since the first Trump administration. Last year, it spent a record $5.8 million on lobbying, according to federal disclosures, compared with $1.4 million in 2019, and is on track to spend even more this year.
But that's minor compared to the campaign donations they give.
Yep.
So same thing with AIPAC. They give a little bit in lobbying, greasing people, buying dinners, et cetera. But then they give a lot in campaign contributions, and then they give away more in dark money. This system is totally 100% corrupt. And soon we're just gonna lose the ability to govern ourselves.
I think we're there already, Cenk.
Well, we need some sort of political revolt here. So, all right, and of course, the last part of it is, in the graphic 8, in the days after October 7th, 2023, Hamas-led attacks on Israel, Palantir leadership was on a plane to Israel. Karp, who's Jewish, later reveled in the pro-Palestinian protests he faced in the US. So laughing in the face of people who were trying to prevent a genocide. Like, you guys think it's a big deal? So what? We're making you finance the genocide, and we're gonna use some of that money to then track you and the Palestinians. By the way, the Palestinians this is like Mengele's experiments. They're the guinea pigs for the whole world. So they have brutalized the Palestinians so badly with no one being able to help them. And that's their little laboratory. We could do this to people and no one can do anything about it. If we could do that to the Palestinians, what can we do to other people? Well, soon, I'm afraid we're all gonna find out. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.